It's time to talk a little more about my traveling to Israel. And you should remember that I'm disabled, not very disabled, but the brain can crash me. So I'm laying there on the floor without could do anything. But I have so strong knowledge. I don't say that I have believe in God because I know God exists and God have coming down and talked to me many times through this. I'm going into the 23rd year since God come and start to talk, but He have talked to me when I was a child and when I was a teenager, but I didn't understood what it was, even if he was talking to me like a person sitting in front of me and talk. I didn't understood because I have not grown up in a religious family. No one have taught me about God when I was child. My father tried to take me to some churches, but he was heavy drinker, so the drinking come before me, before God. But he wanted me to be in the church. My mother was not interested of it. It was my father that was, I don't know what he was. He maybe not knew what he was. He wanted only me to come to a church. And he took with us, with my brother and my sister also, but they ran away. But I was staying as long as I could in the church. The last church I was in as a child until I was a teenager. I left when I was 15, 16 years old. It was Salvation Army I was in, and I didn't want to go back because the Salvation Army was so bad to me when I was homeless in United States. They were very evil to me. It was not only one Salvation Army, it was 3, 4 that I was in and asked for help. And they did bad things to me. And so I'm going to continue with what was done in Israel. And on my way, I am on my way. I will want to talk about when I come to Tel Aviv. Everything was going okay if it was not for that I have to wait 2 days to get my insurance. And by waiting for the insurance, I lost the taxi that I have paid for in Tel Aviv, and that was waiting for me in Tel Aviv to take me to Jerusalem. And I couldn't go with the airplane that I have paid for, so I have to pay for a new airline ticket, but a little lower price. because of what have happened. So, and I have ordered food to eat on the airplane to Tel Aviv because I knew I should be hungry. I think it was 5 hours between Finland and Israel, so I was hungry. But as they have changed the ticket, there was no food for me. I had paid for the food, but there was no. They didn't thought that I had this money so I could pay for food on the airplane. So there was some food to eat. It was like not nice food. It was a soap, warm soap, or no, it was oat meals porridge was it to eat with a little blueberry in it. But it make me not go so very hungry. And then I come to Tel Aviv. Now it started. I didn't have taxi, I didn't have hotel. And it was after midnight I come to Tel Aviv. And I go with a cart that have 8-10 people in it that they have to drive. And I was very tired. I was very sleepy. And I normally go to bed in that time that I come to Tel Aviv. But I have to wait because they were checking the passport on all of us that was in the cart. And then I was, oh no, they are going to look at my papers. I was thinking, and they want to see the insurance, and I don't have it in front of me. They did that in Copenhagen airport. They find where it was, where it says that I have paid for the insurance. But I couldn't do that when I was so tired in my brain. And I was the last one, and they that look at the passport, they say, where she's coming from? And I say Finland, because that was where I have been the last time I was in Helsinki airport. So I say that. So, and the man that was driving the cart, he didn't remember. If he had looked at my passport, he didn't remember. So he said, she is coming from Finland. And that means that they didn't check my insurance, because Finland was free. They didn't need to have insurance from Finland. So they accepted me to be, for a little while I was a Finlandish woman, Suomi tyttö. It's what it says in Finnish. I can speak a little Finnish. And then I was by myself in the cart, because they have drive around with people. And then I didn't, as I have to walk out from the cart, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't have anything. And then the man that drive the cart, he asked me, "Do you have someone that meeting you here?" He say. No, I say, because it was empty. The airport was empty. I said, no, I don't have anyone waiting for me, because I have to change the airplane, and I miss my taxi, and I miss the hotel. I say to him, and then he say, you could go to the information office at the airport. He say, I drive you there. So he drive me there, and it was closed because it was midnight, and no one airplane. It was the last airplane in the night, and he said I sit and wait, and he should go and tell someone. He said to me, so there come a man, a young man, and he had like a uniform. I don't know what, if he was inspector for people, that everything is going right like that. I don't know. I only say that it looked like that. And so he sit down, and I say where I should be for 2 days ago. I should have been in this hotel, I say. And then he called the hotel and asked them if they still have my room at the hotel. And they say, it's full, the hotel. We don't have any room for her. So he was very fun, this man. He's showing on his lips when he was thinking. He had a little way to think, not standing still. He was moving around and bite his lips. And a very deep thinking man. And that was good, that he was. And he called around a little at the hotel, because I told him that I am going to Jerusalem. So he called around at the hotel, but he didn't find any. And I sit at the table and wait for him to talk to someone. And then he think deeper, because when I travel, and special abroad, I don't have any nice clothes on me, because I know I'm going to be sweaty and dirt, and maybe pull things on me that when I eating and these things. So I never take nice clothes. It's only that doesn't matter. I can wash them up next day like that. So I didn't look like I had any money. So I suppose that he was calling for those hostel and those cheaper hotel. And he was not thinking that hotel I had, that I should have been in, was a expensive hotel. He was thinking what he saw, not what I said. And then was he out from thinking about the hotel. So he turned to me and said, "How much money do you have for a hotel?" And I say, "I don't know how much money I have." I say, "I only put in money into my bag and not counted it." But he didn't look like he thought it was strange that I do that. But that's my way to do since many, many years ago. I don't count money because money is not from God. It is some money is of course from God, but those fast money is often from the devil. So, and God is not money. That's the wrong thing you do when you think about God and think about money in the same time. I never do that. I have learned that it's not God. He can help us with money, but he doesn't go very quick with money. And if he don't say something like he did to me, he say before he gave me money that I should give. And the devil often wants something from you with the money, that you should help him with his evil things. So it's different between money and money. And so I say that to him, and I say, "But how much do you have for a hotel?" He asked. And I say, "About 4,000 US dollar at least. I have more than that, but at least I have that money for a hotel," I say. And I was sure I had it, because that was what I got on my bank account suddenly when God and heaven wanted me to fly to Jerusalem. So I say that to him. I have $4,000 US dollar at least on me. And so he looked very surprised, and then he knew exactly where to call, and it was a Jewish-owned hotel, and because in Jerusalem there is different hotel owner. It's not only Jewish only because it's in Israel. It's a Christian, it's a Muslim hotel. That was the first hotel I should be in. It was a Muslim hotel. So it's different, but he called a Jewish hotel. And I think it was interesting because I wanted to know more about Jewish tradition and what they are doing. So the hotel said they had room for me. So and then he helped me to get a taxi for 300 shekel for Jerusalem. And I know it today that it was very cheap. It was controlled taxi. So it was a great taxi to go to. And I come in there and it was a Jewish man sitting. And I say, he say, "Do you have this money to pay us at the hotel for 1 month staying?" I say, "I have at least $4,000 in shekel. I have. I didn't have. I have a little US dollar left from when I paid at hotel in Copenhagen. I say I had 4,000 US dollar in exchange to shekel, I say. So I started to place up the money, and it was many piles of money that I have never had so much so much cash in my whole life, and it was the whole desk, because it was more money than what I had in. I had a shekel that I should pay for at the hotel. I have counted it at home in Sweden to how much shekel I need to have for the hotel. But this hotel was more expensive. So I took up the money for the first hotel. And he say, I need more shekel. He say, that's not enough for the bill for this hotel. And dig down into my backpack, bag, and I had more envelopes with shekel, so it was full, paid for 1 month to stay at the hotel, and he was like shocked, this young man, and he counted the money. And then I say, I need to have a paper that I have paid for the hotel in advance, I say to him, for 1 month. And he had a paper for me from the computer. And then he opened up his bag with money, and he said, I have to count it again. And then it was too much money that he have taken from me, so I got a little money back. And that I understood that he was not into stealing the money from me, as I got money back. And and then I say I'm very hungry now, because it was about 3 o'clock in the night. I say, very hungry. Do you have any food here to buy? No, he said, it's only breakfast, but it's not before, I think, maybe it was 7 or 8. I was not up so early for breakfast. So he say, he asked me what I wanted to have to eat. So he said he had a place to. He ran away in the night with me sitting at the office desk, and he was running out to, and he buy food for me. Of course, I have paid for that, and come back with a chicken salad for me. And that salad, it was so much, not chicken bites, but the salad, green salad, tomatoes, was so much, so it lasted for me 1 week to eat. In the evenings I needed to eat. So that was great. It was very cheap for me. I had a refrigerator in in the room, but it was not very cold because it was this to have drinks in to pay for the hotel, but they didn't have that because they were Jewish. So yeah. But it was a double bed, and it was okay, but it was very cold on the floor, and the room was cold. But when I am sleeping, I turn around very much. I exercise more in the night than I do in the daytime. So I am very warm in my body in the night, so I don't freeze. But then I talk about it that it was cold, and I say I can't go into the bathroom to take a shower because I can't walk into a bathtub. I said to the man that was in the morning, and he say I am going to change the room because that room is not for disabled people, he say. But I could not say that in the night because I needed a bed to sleep in. But then they changed. I got a better room, and could take a shower. And then it was breakfast, and it was Jewish breakfast. But those people that was working in the hotel was Muslims. So it was very strange situation in the hotel. No Jewish person was working at the hotel more than this young man that was in the night. And that was also very strange, because maybe have been another answer about me staying at the hotel if it have been a Muslim that have answered the telephone. But I think they didn't have Muslims working in the night. There was not to be sure that everything be closed and no one steal things and like that. So it was Jewish in the evening until the night. And I think it could have been different, but I don't know. But the Muslims was nice to me at the hotel. They were not bad at all to me, but in the end of my staying, the whole time they say they wanted money from me. And I saw that it was American people that come in the evening and breakfast and like that. And I saw them giving money to those people, that Muslims that was working there. And they tried to get the money from me the whole time. And I say that I'm from Sweden and I don't do that kind of things, because I have paid for the hotel room, and it including the breakfast. Also in those money I have paid for everything. So I should not need to pay any tips to people. They get the money from hotel owner. I told them that we don't do that in Sweden. if we are told to give tips, that is mostly when they working like the taxi driver in a country. Not in Sweden, we don't pay tips, but in some countries you pay tips to the taxi driver, and you give tips in everywhere you are eating in places. My husband, when I lived in Texas, he paid more in tips than what he paid for the food for us. I thought it was so crazy that he paid more than what we pay for the food. But it was his way to do it, so he was really someone that was flirting with all women. So I don't think it should be like that way. You should pay some percent of the money you pay for the food, not the 200% for the food. But that tell me that he was the same kind of man as my daughter's father, because he can give lots of money, and they don't need to pay extra money in Sweden, but he do it because he want to like brag that he have lots of money, that he is very rich man. And it's same man, but I didn't understood these things. But I see it very quick now when I have been to date with men, and they do these things that they pay extra for, to show up that they have lots of money. And those men I don't go for, because I don't go for the money, as money is not God. So this is the part 2 of my traveling. I am going to end this talking. I'm going to do part 3 also, or maybe 4. And I'm talking about a little what was in the breakfast. It was many American, not adult, it was students. They were between 12 and 18 years old, teenagers, and they were in like a class, so they teach them what they are doing in the Jewish way. And that was very interesting for me, because they were speaking English, so I can hear what they told the students about to wash their hands before start to we have smorgasbord, that we have a buffet that we take food from, and before the students have to clean their hands, even if they come from the room. They say it was what the Jewish tradition was, and then it was very much a cheese to eat. You maybe know these things. but many American was from Italy also. They speak Italy together sometimes. So it was very much bread. It was very much cheese. There was no meat more than fish. And I'd be surprised because they had what we have in Sweden, that I am thinking that not many countries have. But it's like pickle herring, a sour, sweet, raw fish. They had that, and I took that, and then they have a boiled egg, and sometimes I think they were flirting very much with American people because they give the money, hidden money. So there were very often scrambled eggs that I eat very much, that I like. And then they have this breakfast also with sour yogurt that they have done, homemade yogurt, some sorts, and those, I don't know, cornflakes style. And then they have very sweet things, small cakes. They have these very sweet things and honey and these things. It was very sweet, everything. And I have hard to. I have diabetes, so I should not eat so much sugar, but what to do when the only thing that you can eat is full of sugar? And so it was hard for me to eat breakfast for 1 month, because I prefer to have different food. Every day I want to have something new, and that I couldn't get because it was the same. But it was very much food to eat in the morning. And then it was fruits, fresh fruits, and I took with me one orange every time I go away from the breakfast, to have in the lunchtime before I going out to see if I can find any food. So that's it was very nice breakfast, but not with any meat or more than the fish. And then, of course, it was much olives, also different kind of olives. And it was very strange because it was a Jewish hotel, and then it was Muslim also. But I'd be surprised that there were pig meat, swine meat in the evening, because the people from the United States couldn't. They wanted to have pig meats, and they have chicken and fish also. So, and I don't like the fish with tomato, hot fish with tomato sauce. I don't like that. I like cold in cans to have on my sandwich, but not warm. And so I didn't eat that. And I don't eat pig meat. So, but they have always chicken legs for the American people. And when the American people eat, I was allowed to eat also. So sometimes I got food for free. And but I have hard with the food, as I have hard to walk outside on my own. But I had to. If you have to, you can make it. Most of the time you can make it. Not everyone, but most of the people can if you are forced to do it. And I'm going to talk about how to live in Jerusalem in that hotel. Now when I am back to Sweden, I couldn't say anything because that young Jewish man, he became my friend on Facebook. So he read everything I wrote, and maybe this podcast also listen at. So he spy on me. And then when I go back to Sweden, he unfriended me on Facebook. So it was only a spy. So this chapter will start to be too long now, so I need to end it and then make chapter 3 tomorrow or another day. I don't know when. I go very much about feelings, and then when I hear from heaven, I need to recording when they start to move around here and wake me up in the night like that. I tell them every time I go to sleep for the night, I say to them, you don't need to wake me up in the night, because today and now you can talk to me in the daytime and I hear you. I say to them, so don't wake me up in the night. But sometimes I forget, or sometimes I fall to sleep immediately when I lay down. So I have not talking to them about to not talk to me in the night. So sometimes they wake me up because they want to talk to me. So thank you, and God bless you. Thank you for to support me and listen at my podcast.